Greetings, strikers, bikers, cagers, and dreamers. You've got to have a dream. Speedster Johnny says so because it's what he believes. We're out for a little ride here, and I'm going to use this time to talk about something that's been a concern of mine for quite a while. As those of you who own Spyders know, they are pretty complex machines. Consequently, when it comes time for repair or service, the price tends to be pretty high. And I actually took my Spyder to a repair station, dealership, so forth, and just to let them know that I was coming up on my 1 year, almost 3,000 mile service interval, and wanted to find out, could they do it? When could they do it? How much was it going to cost me? Always a consideration. And what kinds of things do they do in general? Well, the answers to most of those questions are probably pretty obvious to anybody that owns a specialty machine. What kind of blew me away was the cost. The labor rate is $59 per half hour, not hour, per half hour. And I was told that the typical service on the break-in, oil change, filter, levels, various checks they do and so forth would come to a grand total of $435, plus tax, I'm sure, which comes to about another $40, I would think. But, well, I think if I learned anything, it's that after I get through my warranty period, I'm either going to, 1, start doing my own service, or 2, find an independent mechanic that is capable of working on these machines. I do think I have one lined up, but I think I wanted for the first time to have the dealership do it because I am experiencing a little minor difficulty. This problem dates back like to day 1. The day I drove the bike out of the dealership. The dealership is about a 50-mile drive one way, and it happened while I was on the expressway, the interstate I-40, headed back towards home. What happened was I saw the check engine light come on. This is always something that I would think somebody would tend to be very concerned about, and myself no exception to that. What does this mean? Can't be good, right? Well, probably not. So I got off the expressway. I was probably 25-minute drive from home, thereabouts. Called the dealership, and of course it took a while to get in touch with the sales guy, who I guess was going to have to contact the service department about my issue. There was a message on the little panel there, check DPS. Of course, to me, I had absolutely no idea what that meant. But it turns out it relates to the dynamic power steering. Now, if you lose power steering, your head would say, that means, all of a sudden, steering's going to be like really heavy, or, like when a car loses power steering for one reason or another, and all of a sudden the wheel is really difficult to turn. I had no symptom of anything like that in the handlebars. The bike seemed to be absolutely fine. I continued on, and after I spoke to the guy at the dealership, he said, bring it in and we'll check it out. Well, seeing that I was almost home, it didn't make much sense to do that. Well, when I turned the key back on, the message was gone. So apparently, whatever it was, it had reset itself. Sounds like a good thing, right? Well, over the course of the next, maybe 200 or 300 miles, I had the same symptom, maybe 2 or 3 times. Same situation, no sense of steering difficulty or anything abnormal at all, other than this pesky light and this little message. So, after about the 3rd time, the problems seemed to go away. I didn't seem to have the same thing happening anymore at all. Well, this is good, right? I guess. Well, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was out riding with Brer Dan, my favorite riding buddy. And lo and behold, once again, coming home on an expressway, I get the check engine light and the check DPS message. And this is after maybe 2,500 miles had passed, so I couldn't imagine why I would be having this problem again, and why not at all in the in-between times. Total mystery to me. I raised the question with the service writer at the dealership today, and I didn't see any lights go on, like, oh yeah, I've heard of that, and all that means is the phragmogrammatus needs to be adjusted, or take a couple turns on the Norton valve, or whatever it is that dealers do when they have situations like this. He said it could be something like a bad sensor. Okay, I come prepared for this. Being a member of other video bloggers groups, like Great Rides and Rob at Gimpy Garage, and following the SpyderLovers.com website, sometimes people have seen things like this and have suggestions. Well, I learned one thing, and that's how to read an active code. Now, an active code means, like, when I had that check engine light and I pulled over, if I had not turned the engine off, but had held down on the eco button, the set button, and pressed in with my thumb on the signal light button, I would have gotten a readout of the active code. And of course, I didn't know that at the time, almost a year ago when this was happening. So I did it today just for the fun of it, and basically the message was no active codes. Fine. Well, of course, that doesn't get me any closer to resolving the problem, but at least I know if sometime between now and when I take the bike in for service, if I do get that, I'll be able to check it and see what that code is. The service writer did tell me, however, there are events that happen on your bike that get logged on the computer. Now, these are things that you can't see with the procedure I just described. And I'm sure they have some kind of a port that they can plug into. Wouldn't it be nice if it was something that you could check with an OBD2 code reader like you use on your car? But I'm sure that's not the case. Anyway, the horror stories could begin when they get it in. They are able to have the problem that I've had, and it takes a part. Okay, the part in all likelihood is not going to be in stock, and it might take them 3 to 5 days to get the part, so there's that. On top of that, and this is the horror story part, sometimes parts have to come from Canada, and suppose they aren't necessarily in stock. Well, that's kind of too bad. You just have to wait. And another thing I found out is when they tear the bike down to do the inspection and are able to determine what the problem is, if they put it back together and let you ride away with it until the part comes in, they are going to charge you for taking the bike down again. The warranty only covers the initial teardown, all the panels and covers and crap, all that have to be taken off to get into the guts of the thing. Well, so is this going to be 3 to 5 days, assuming they even find the problem, or is this going to be months? Well, if it gets to be more than a couple of weeks or so, I guess my answer is going to be, well, the hell with it. I need my bike back. I got the riding season going on, and I don't want to miss out on it. If I have to pay a little more for the teardown to get the problem resolved, so be it. Even at $59 a half hour, I mean, hopefully it wouldn't run up to be that big a bill, but maybe it will. I was told at the selling dealership to expect, and that's with this bike, over the course of the next year or two, I guess it was 2, the full length of the warranty period, I could expect to be laying out about $2,000 in service costs. Well, I guess if you were to put on like 6,000 miles a year, have the bike serviced every 3,000 miles, and do that for the course of a couple of years, I could see how you could approach that price, if not hit it. But as I said, I'm going to look for an independent mechanic. I'm probably going to do the simple things myself. There's plenty of good YouTube videos about doing oil changes and things like that. And if everything seems to be working correctly and fluid levels stay up and there's no leaks or anything like that, there's probably nothing I can't do myself. I can't say that I'm a superb shade tree mechanic, but I know how to get a lot of things done. And I do have lots of Torx fittings, and I know where the places are to drain the fluids, and I think I can do it. But anyway, I am facing that one rather substantial repair bill early on, and of course I'm not real thrilled about that. But what are you going to do? Specialty. Anything that costs $60 at Ford dealership is probably going to cost $300 or more at the Can-Am or Harley Davidson, or you name your dealer, and you know. I mean, it's not aviation repair prices, but it's pretty dear. And you know, being a retired senior, got to watch the bucks a little bit. Got to draw the line somewhere. But well, hey, I'm glad you're watching with me. I welcome back subscribers and new viewers. I'm glad to hear from you. If you have something to say, don't forget to like and comment if you have heard something that piques your interest. Spyders are great. I love mine. Little bit of a problem right now, but hey, it's good. So we'll sign off with a closing strain of Ride of the Valkyries, Richard Wagner, of course. So, Speedster Johnny, signing out. Have a good one.